So the story this week, we talked about this with a CTV reporter with Rachel Lau earlier in the week. There's an app called Wiz. I hope I spelled it right, Wizz. And it's basically, and I don't describe this incorrectly, it's kind of like a social media site designed for young teenagers. And it turns out primarily for boys. But that's why Carmi Levy is here. He's our CTV tech analyst. Carmi, how would you describe Wiz?
Best way to describe it is Tinder for teenagers.
Okay.
And so it's an app that you download, and you can sort of self-select into a particular age group. Checks and balances for that not in place. Easy to spoof that you're younger or older, which makes it ridiculously easy for someone who is older, a predator, a criminal, to prey on younger kids. And we are seeing, thanks to the folks at cybertip.ca, they're saying that last year the number of reports that they saw about this app went up 10 times compared to the year before. They say it's absolutely off the charts. They're seeing kids being targeted with sextortion schemes. So someone finds a child on this platform, starts chatting with them, convinces them to maybe switch to text messaging or some other platform, and then they share a photo, and a questionable photo, and then you either send me money or I'm going to share this with all of your contacts. And this is up. Most of the victims are between 15 and 17 years old. In 93% of the cases, the victims are male. So, it's rather surprising, but absolutely stunning numbers. And parents, if you aren't having these conversations with your kids about what apps they're using, you've got to ensure that they know that this is one of those apps that places them at particular risk. And you do want to be having those conversations with them so they know they can come to you, not fear you, if something is going on this particular platform or something like it.
So the first thing that jumps out at you is typically when we've heard about apps like this that, entrap young people, it's been mainly girls, I think. And this one has very much, as you just said, been mainly boys. What's the difference here? Do we know?
I don't know. I think what criminals often do is they will simply repeat what has worked previously. So if they find that boys represent an untapped market, and I say that perversely because it is perverse, but if they find that boys represent an untapped market, in other words, we haven't exploited them previously, but we recently did, and wouldn't you know it, they're much more likely to convert, much more likely to send the money. Then, like moths to a flame, that's what criminals will do. They will keep going after the same thing. And also, boys may be, there may be something about current mental health trends that makes them more likely to want to reach out to a stranger, find a friend on a digital platform. So probably a whole lot of other factors that are at play here. But what is clear, the trend line is it doesn't matter what gender you are. It touches boys as well as girls. And in this particular case, they're being victimized at a much greater rate than girls are.
Okay, let's move on and talk about a couple of other stories in the news. This one, you talk about how successful it is to be a hacker. Ransomware hackers raked in how much money last year?
Well, according to Chainalysis, which is a company that tracks cryptocurrency payments, we know that ransomware payments are often made in cryptocurrency. They say that last year in the U.S. alone, $1 billion was paid in ransoms related to ransomware attacks. Those are the ones that they know of, and we know full well that ransomware is one of those underreported crimes. Nobody wants to admit that they were victimized by it. So they say $1 billion in the U.S. I'm saying it's a lot bigger than $1 billion because of the sheer number, probably by an order of magnitude. Let's call it $10 billion. And that's only in the U.S. Globally, it's probably even more than that. Bottom line, ransomware is a global epidemic, and it's getting a lot worse, and we're starting to see data that confirms just how bad it is.
I don't even know what to say anymore when we do a story like this, letting people know, because you could say this till you're blue in the face, yet it keeps happening day after day after day to the point where it's now $1 billion industry, if you want to call it that. Anything new you tell people other than check where that email is coming from or don't reply to something you didn't initiate? Beyond that, nothing?
Yeah, just recognize that this targets us both personally as well as at work. And we have to stop assuming that every message that we receive needs to be answered.
Yeah.
It does not. So do not interact with or engage with messages that you receive, even if it looks like it comes from a legitimate source, your bank, your insurance company, the federal government, the CRA, the provincial government, whatever. Do not click on links in there. Instead, go to the website of the organization if you must engage with them, like the CRA, because tax season's coming up, and then go to the website and log in yourself. Never click a link in a message or in social media. That's what gets us into trouble.
And then, proving how uncool I am tech-wise, Blue Sky, you note, has added almost 1 million users one day after opening to the public. I have no idea what Blue Sky is.
Blue Sky was founded by the same guy who founded Twitter, Jack Dorsey, and it was actually a side project of his when he was still at Twitter a few years ago. And now that he's no longer with Twitter, of course, Elon Musk owns it, Jack Dorsey has developed it into its own company, its own platform. And if you download the Blue Sky app, it looks a lot like what Twitter used to look like. It looks like X. And it's being sort of pitched as an alternative to X because, of course, we know X has become a bit of a chaotic place since Elon Musk took over, and there are a whole bunch of other platforms like Meta's Threads that are trying to kind of take over from there. So that's what Blue Sky is, trying to be the next Twitter. It was invite only for a while. They removed the invitation requirement last week, and they went from 3 million users to 4 million in a day. Now they're pushing 5 million. So still nowhere near X's 300 or so million, but growing. And if you're looking for an alternative to X and you're not very happy with it, there are more people on Blue Sky now. And I'm starting to notice, I'm on it. I'm starting to notice, I didn't have a lot of friends on there, but after last week, I have a few more. So starting to see conversations pick up there.
I mean, who wants to be, if you were on Twitter before, and I know obviously a lot of people decided I don't want to do this anymore when Elon Musk took over, is it the same kind, what are you seeing on Blue Sky that you wouldn't see on Twitter?
A lot of people talking about what's happened at Twitter and how glad they are to be off of it. And to be perfectly honest with you, I think this whole notion of replacing Twitter, I think we need to move away from it. In other words, we all have a certain amount of time during the day. It's not getting bigger, and we've been spending it all on social media. Elon Musk taking Twitter over and basically ruining it, let's not replace Twitter. Let's just set it aside, take that time back and go outside. So the concept of a Twitter replacement, maybe Blue Sky will, maybe it won't, but I'm certainly not going to be putting more time into a replacement for X or for Twitter. I'm going to be taking a walk instead and leaving my phone in my pocket.
I salute you, my friend. Finally, got 30 seconds. You're pointing out amid artificial intelligence and the boom in it. Guess what, boys and girls? AI girlfriends and boyfriends. What the hell is this?
They are known as digital companions or digital bots. Basically, it's a relationship customized version of ChatGPT, of an AI chatbot. They're called Paradot or Replica or Eliza. And they sound kind of cool. If you're socially, you kind of have trouble socially speaking with people, you can talk to a bot instead, which is okay if you know that it's a bot. It's when you lose sight of it, that's when we kind of have problems, moral and ethical issues as well. I would suggest the 2013 classic Her, starring Joaquin Phoenix and Scarlett Johansson. That'll kind of explain what this is and why we want to go into this with our eyes open. I think I'm going to stick to humans, though. I really don't want to have a relationship with a bot.
For research, though, Carmi, I'm sure you've gone online. Have any of the bots asked you? Have they asked you for money? Should you be aware that I guess once that happens, you want to perhaps move along?
Yeah, that's when I'm pulling the plug.
Okay.
And I think that's the problem. The longer you talk to them, the more the potential for them to go rogue and suggest things you probably shouldn't do. So recognize this is imperfect technology. It will not replace a human, no matter how good they say it is.
Great. You can have a boyfriend or girlfriend. AI. Carmi Levy, our CTV tech analyst. Thank you, Carmi.
Appreciate it, Aaron.